We're going to get right into the interview with Jayden Nunn now. He's one of the top incoming transfers to this Baylor squad, and he's had a heck of a career so far, the collegiate ranks, playing at VCU. And as he heads out now to Baylor, he's expected to be one of the top guys in the entire Big 12, one of the newcomers in all the Big 12. And so with that being said, I'm excited to be able to welcome on Jayden Nunn. Jayden, appreciate you taking time to come on today, man.
No problem. Appreciate you for having me here, man.
Absolutely, man. So you've had a lot of different big decisions recently. Obviously, you had a huge one announcing you're coming out to Baylor now. But one I do want to make sure we get into is talking about a big decision you recently made by deciding to get baptized. And I just want to show the picture right now. I'm not sure if you can see it. So take us to that, because as a believer, man, I know that that's even a bigger overall decision than even making a decision for college. That's an eternal decision for yourself. So just walk us through that a little bit. What made you decide to say, you know what, now is the time that I want to go and get baptized?
Really, last year when I was at VCU, like I wanted to get baptized, and then my teammate Ace Baldwin had got baptized. So then him, and some of my teammates started going to church out there at
Mm-hmm.
VCU. Got comfortable, going to church and meeting the pastor out there. So it was just like being good, just being involved and surrounded by good people that just got baptized. So I feel like it motivated me to want to do it even more. So then when I first got here in June, I didn't know any churches and stuff, so
Yeah.
I got comfortable, and I told the pastor, pastors come to practice and stuff, and when our coaches told him like I wanted to get baptized in like June,
Mm.
and we started going to church. I got comfortable going to church and stuff, and then I think I went to church one more time, and I was like, we was talking, we went out to eat after church, and then I said I wanted to get baptized again. And he was like, yeah, we need to get it done. So then me and Langston had got baptized that very next weekend on Saturday.
So I know, like you mentioned, obviously, a shout out to Langston as well for making that big decision. Was that something that you guys kind of talked about and said, you know, let's do this together? Did it just happen to come together and you're like, okay, I guess we're both getting baptized this weekend? Or how did that all come together for you guys?
It just like happened because like we was talking about it. We was talking to our pastor, and I already had told my pastor I wanted to get baptized. So then I said it again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when Langston was like, "Yeah, I want to get baptized too."
Mm.
We just did it at the same time. It was like, "Yeah, bet we just gonna do it at the same time."
Now, for those that aren't believers, obviously when you get baptized, it's more just an outward expression of your belief, because as you kind of already alluded to, you already were a believer. You already believed and wanted to follow Jesus before you got baptized. That was just kind of
Right,
the making it known to the world publicly.
right.
When would you say that actually happened, though, for you personally? Like that actual personal relationship with Jesus started to form for yourself?
Really, it really started with just like I just like when I was praying and stuff. It just like certain things used to happen, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't a coincidence. Like it ain't nobody but like him. Like I know it because I used to pray for it or stuff for like answers or signs and stuff used to happen. And I
Mm-hmm.
crazy, like, cause I know it ain't nobody but him that's showing me this stuff. Cause I was
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about it, so it was just like, yeah, I believe him, for sure.
Now, I first got to start knowing you was when you came out to Arizona. You obviously went to a Christian school at Dream City Christian. How big of an impact was that in your walk with God? Did that help a lot? Did that kind of just help take the next steps with you? Or when did you really start forming that relationship with God?
Um, I say like I always went to church when I was young and stuff. When I
Okay.
was in the city, they had us. We went to church out there and everything. So we used to have to go to church every Sunday, Thursdays and stuff like that. They had a church on campus. So like I'll say I've been a believer. Like I've been like following God, but I feel like when I got older and more mature, I feel like I just wanted to express it and be known because I got baptized when I was younger, but I don't remember because
Yeah.
I want to just get the feeling and know that feeling again, how it feels to be baptized.
Where would you say has been the biggest moment that you've seen God show up in your life so far?
He showed up a lot. I ain't gonna lie. This
Mm-hmm.
most recently, most recently was my decision, like my college decisions, and coming here to Baylor, going to VCU when I was in high school,
Yeah.
entering the transfer portal. Like I didn't want to, but just showing me signs and constantly, like all the time. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
just like a name. It's like numerous, way more than like 10 for sure.
So you have had a platform that's continued to grow, obviously going from a high school guy that wasn't necessarily one of the top ring recruits coming out. We'll get into that in a little bit, but you still had a platform. Then you go to college and you become a starter at VCU, a guy that's becoming more and more well known. You now get the next step where you're going to the Big 12, the best basketball conference in the country, playing at a team that has a chance to win a national championship every year while they're in that program. As you have this platform, how do you look to be able to continue to be the light and help others get to know God and follow Jesus?
Um, I really just like want to show my faith and my believer. I'm a believer off the court, on the court. Just by
Mhm.
praying, just giving him all the glory. For everything that good happened in my life. I was just try to show appreciation to God. Outwardly on social media and everything, or on my Twitter, I always try to promote God and just show how much I appreciate Him.
So let's get a little bit into your other decision you made just a few months ago, and that was coming to Baylor. And kind of at the same time, sticking with the relationship with Jesus aspect, you're going to a program where the head coach is well known as being a strong believer. He's one of the guys that isn't just a believer, but is one that's also very outspoken. He uses his platform to glorify God. And I know that just talking to a lot of guys, he talks about his relationship with Jesus a lot and helps guys through their walks with Jesus as well. How big of an impact would you say that had on your recruiting process going to Baylor?
I'd say it had a very big impact on me and my family, because my family, I got a great support system, and I feel like, they're true believers, and, they take the, like, church and God very seriously. So they
Mm.
played a big role in my decision. They influenced me a lot in going to Baylor. So, when I came on my, when I came on my visit to Baylor, it was just like, Scott Drew is just like great energy. He talks about God a lot, shows
Mhm.
appreciation and all the time. So he's just a great coach. Not even a great coach. He's just a great human being overall. Like just love to be around him.
So what's your guys' relationship been like so far? Because I guess you guys had a little bit of games when you had the 4-2 or whatnot, but I mean you haven't got to go out and play real games yet. But just going through practices, talking with him, what's your guys' relationship like, and what's it like just being around Coach Drew?
Um, our relationship has grown a lot. I feel like I just got out of practice about like 30 minutes ago. So he
Hmm.
challenges me every day to something new, just something to get better at. He always looking to challenge me, or he always trying to make me just become a better man on and off the court. So I appreciate him for that, just being able to challenge me every day. So yeah.
So in the past few months, how would you say you've seen your guys' relationship grow? Because I'm sure when you guys first entered the portal, just going to get to know him, build a little bit of a relationship there. To now at this point today, how much would you say you guys' relationship has grown, and where would you say is the biggest areas that you guys' relationship has grown in?
I feel like we grown like tremendously. Like I trust him now. We built a lot of trust. I not only trust him, I trust all the coaching staff. This whole
Hmm.
staff at Baylor, is just great. They nice, they're polite, they always talk with respect. They're when I need them. So I feel like we've grown a lot. I love this coaching staff. With all my heart, I really mean it for real.
Well, let's go through this recruiting process a little bit because you enter the portal, and that's after Coach Rhodes decided to take the job at Penn State. And so a lot of you guys obviously evaluate decisions, what's next for you guys in your journeys. And you being a guy that has already had a great career so far in your first couple of seasons out there at VCU, you get a lot of attention. You get offers and opportunities to go to schools like Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, Penn State. I believe those were other schools in the finals, at least alongside Baylor. What was this recruiting process like for yourself? Because I know it was a lot different than the past one going out of high school. So
It
what
was,
was this past one like?
this past one was probably the most hard. Like it was probably the most hard. Like I had so many visits. I really
Mhm.
like I just like wanted to go on a visit that I wanted to go to schools that I pictured myself going to. I didn't even want to waste any school's time, so I had to turn down some schools. But I
Yeah.
wanted schools that I actually picture myself going to, and playing at. So I looked at their style of play and everything. But this probably one of the most hardest decisions of my life. It was just stressful, up all night thinking about it. But I really had to pray about it. So that's what really
Mhm.
helped me the most, just praying about it, because couldn't make this decision on my own for sure.
Was it at all shocking to you because when you came out of high school, you were a guy, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, that you had offers, you were a guy that was ranked to some extent, but it wasn't necessarily this guy that every school in the country wanted like it was this past time around. So was it at all shocking to you just to see how much the recruiting process has changed in just about a 2-year span for you?
Yeah, it was shocking, but it just showing like the hard work paying off, But it was shocking for sure. It was shocking, but it was just I'm just great. I'm just happy, to be where I'm at today, and I'm glad that I made the decision that I did make.
So who did it really come down to for yourself? Because when you look at these schools, all of them are great programs. Two of the ones would have kept you also in the Big 12. Penn State, you would have been able to be coached by your former coach and Coach Rhodes out there. Then obviously LSU's is a great program as well. But who did it come down to? Because Baylor's obviously the winner here. But was there a number two option for yourself, or who was kind of that final running?
Baylor, Texas, Alabama, and Penn State.
Hmm.
So yeah, them were like I had a visit schedule. Like I didn't schedule it yet because I went to Baylor. Then right after Baylor, we drove. Texas came and got us and took us to Austin. And I was supposed to go to Alabama right after. but I just was like, I can't do it no more. Like it's gonna make the decision way more harder. So I just like
Mhm.
I said, I'm straight. Like I ain't gonna go on a visit.
So what was it about Baylor? What was it that Coach Drew and this program kind of attached onto, and kind of said, okay, this is where I think God wants me to be playing my college basketball at?
I'd say like just the coaching staff, and I feel like just the city, like the environment. Austin, a great city. I feel like
Hmm.
it's easy to get distracted. Waco is more of like a calm city. Nobody really
Sure.
knows. So really just focus on basketball, and I feel like they take basketball and sports very seriously. Texas does as well, but I feel like I could just focus more here, and just
Hmm.
focus on the main goal, which is to play basketball in school.
When you talk about Coach Rhodes, he's a guy that, and we'll get into your high school recruiting in a second too, that he obviously was your coach for the past 2 years, gave you that opportunity to go out there and play. And he's obviously a great coach, and he's going to probably do great things out there, I think, at Penn State. Was it tough at all to kind of say, you know what, I think I'm going to take this next journey and say, you know what, I think I'm going to go with Coach Drew this time around?
Mhm. It was tough. I built a good relationship with all the coaching staff at VCU. Coach Rose, Coach Bryant, Coach
Hmm.
Big B, like everybody. I love them all. So it was really a hard decision in leaving them, but I appreciate them for even being there when I told them, I made the decision on going to Baylor. So I just appreciate them just for being there and, just helping me. And they still, still keep in contact with my coaches at Baylor to this day, to asking about and make sure I'm okay. So I appreciate them for real.
So we want to go into that high school journey a little bit for yourself because you originally are, for starting off, you're originally out there from Michigan, and you
Yeah.
guys have a unique brand of basketball out there. Obviously, it's got a lot of talent historically, currently, of guys that come out from there have had great NBA careers. We're talking about Hall of Famers. We're talking about some of the all-time great players, and it's a unique area because not a lot of people, I don't think, give Michigan the respect that they deserve. Because we talk about the New Yorks, we talk about the Californias, the Floridas, and the Texases. They've got a lot of Hall of Famers and great players as well, especially for a state not being as large as those other ones. So just growing up out there, what was the basketball culture like?
I feel like it was very tough, very gritty. So I feel like that just like made me, better as a player on and off the court for sure. So I just feel like I just became more tougher, just playing with, guys in Michigan from Flint, Detroit, all around.
Mhm.
So they got great players, Grand Rapids, Saginaw, they got great players all around for sure.
So within your family lines, your dad is also an athlete. He played in a high school that had Glenn Rice, obviously once again one of those great players. You have NFL players, you have other NBA players. I mean, the list goes on, just great talents there. When you talk about your dad and the impact he's had on your life, what does he kind of help guide you in the game in terms of basketball?
I feel like he just give me a lot of wisdom. He give me a lot of knowledge because he been through it, so he knows better than I know for sure. So he's just always been there in every decision that I have made, basketball or not. Just being a dad in general. I appreciate him for that for sure. So he just always been there for me.
And so when you come out to Arizona, then you go to Dream City Christian. And when you headed out of high school, like I mentioned a couple of times now, you weren't necessarily the highest ranked recruit. But at that point in time, did you know that you had a chance to be a guy that probably should have been a top 100 player? Is that the kind of confidence you had and belief you had, or did that more so come in the past couple of years for yourself?
I feel like I knew I was, but it's just like political. So
Hmm.
I feel like I knew I was at heart, but it's just like I feel like top 100 is more of like political thing and stuff like that. So I really didn't try to like when I seen stuff like on social media or I went in the top 100. I really didn't like try to like get mad or nothing. It's not nothing to get mad about because some of the players, most of the players on the list, you better than you can't really do nothing about it because they have more publicity than you. So really just try.
Sure.
So it's just just play basketball at the end of the day.
The crazy thing about you is that we're not just talking about a guy that's going to be a great college player. We look at some of the mock drafts. I know it's early and it's hard to kind of look at those for yourself because I know you're focusing on the season, but we're talking about a guy that has a chance of playing in the NBA in the next couple of seasons, getting drafted. Is that at all shocking to you just to see how much you've grown, or is that even to yourself something that you always kind of pictured and said, I truly believe that there's going to be a day where I can play at the college level at a high level, but I think I can also play and make money off this game someday as well.
Yeah, for sure. I believe it for sure. I work every day. Like I want it bad. So it
Hmm.
just it has to come like eventually because I work for it. I really grinded for this, so it got to come eventually. So I know it is. So I got faith. So that God got me. He lead the way. So yeah.
All right, so let's go into your high school recruitment because that was a little wild as well because you originally go to Iowa State, all sounded good, all was working out well, and then coach gets fired out there. And so you're in that weird situation that we see happen a few different times each college season at the end of it. and you're in this tough spot because in the transfer portal era, when it comes time in that second part of the season, when it's off season, a lot of coaches are primarily looking at the guys that's going to be in the portal because they're the older, more experienced guys, and so you kind of get put in this tough situation. How did you deal with all that?
It was hard. I got turned down by some schools too, like schools I wanted to go to back in
Mm,
high school because they chose like transfer guys over me and stuff because I was young. So I couldn't get mad at them because as a coach I would too. Choosing a
yeah.
player experience. So, but it was just like I just wanted to go to a school that not only I wanted to go to, but I feel like they wanted me. So
Mhm.
I feel like I chose VCU. I feel like they wanted me. So go. I went to a school that wanted me the most. So that's why I feel like helped my decision out of high school for sure.
When Coach originally got fired, what was your first reaction?
It was shocking. It was shocking. It was.
Mm.
I was mad. Coach Crum is a good coach. William Smalls, the assistant coach that was there, he is a good coach as well. So I was just mad because you got to go through the recruiter process all over again. So I didn't want to because I had a good connection with Iowa State. Monte Morris, we close and we talked. Man, he helped me get to Iowa State too for sure because we both from the same city. So
All right, so when Coach TJ comes in, and he's obviously a great coach and whatnot, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he didn't even contact to reach out to you, and that's when officially you decided to make a decision, say, I'm going to reopen my recruiting process, and all that ends up unfolding. What was your thoughts when that happened? Like, were you expecting Iowa State to at least reach out to you, to have a relationship with you, to try to get you to come back there? Or how did that all go down?
yeah, I wanted them. I wanted them to for sure. But I wanted them to reach out because I wanted to go to that school bad. But
Mm.
I feel like it's just like all our guys playing. So I was mad. But as I look back, I'm older. So, but I was mad at the time. As I look back, I was older. I just appreciate God just for putting me through stuff, in life. So he just helped a lot. So yeah.
All right, we look at the potential schedule for you guys, though. We know that Iowa State's going to come up twice this season.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any extra little bit of motivation when you get out there, or what's that going to be like when you get to go play Iowa State?
Yeah, it is. It
Hmm.
is a little like extra little fire. I want to play them. So it's a couple schools on our schedule that I'm just ready to play for sure. So I got something personal against. So yeah.
All right, so who's on the top of that list? And if you could go pick out your top one, two, maybe even three schools you want to go play this year, who are they?
It's probably like four right now that I'm knowing. MSU, Iowa State, Duke, and I say Texas.
You said MSU. I'm guessing that's because that would have been the hometown team for yourself there. What would that be like for yourself to be able to play your old hometown team?
It's gonna be good. We actually played them in Michigan too, so it's
Hmm.
gonna be a fun game. They got a great team. They
Yeah.
got all the respect, so I feel like it's gonna be a great game. They got a lot of experienced guys. They a great team, so yeah, it's gonna be fun playing them for sure.
All right, so when you're talking about going and end up going to VCU, who else was in the mix for you? Was it just pretty much VCU was the one that just stood out above everyone else, or was there a couple other schools that are kind of in the running for yourself then?
Um, it was VCU, Pitt, Arizona State, and it was LSU, but it was really out of Arizona State and VCU.
All right, so let's get into those couple of seasons because you go to VCU and Coach Rhodes is a great coach. VCU is a historic program, very good and accomplished program as well. And you do something that hasn't been done by too many freshmen before. You're only the third true freshman to start the season opener and start the pretty much the entire season since 2009. What did that mean to you to be able to go into a team where you guys were a competitive, great roster right out the gate, and you're going to be a starter playing legitimate, contributable minutes?
It was hard because it's hard to lead and play with guys that are older than you. So it was just hard just because I was like the one of the guards on the team, so I was like I had to be like a leader, but it was hard. It's hard leading guys older than you. So yeah, it was fun though. It was fun, and it was a great experience. I feel like it helped me mature, on the court as well. Just playing with older guys for sure. So it was very fun. We had a great schedule. We played Baylor that year too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
If Coach Rhodes was still the head coach at VCU, do you think you would still be there, or do you think you still would have entered the transfer portal?
I'm not gonna lie. I probably would have stayed. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And,
like I was very comfortable at VCU, like Coach Rose and all of my teammates. Like I didn't even look at them like teammates. Like we had a great friendship, brotherhood, and coaching staff was good. So I feel like I probably would have stayed. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, you guys would have had a nice squad out there too, because likely if everyone would have stayed, you guys would have had Ace return, yourself, that would have been one of the top backcourts in the country again, Jalen and Deloach and so on, Nick, all those guys. How good do you think that team could have been if you guys all stick together one more year at least?
Like that team would have been crazy. Like that team would have been very good. We all was getting older and we was getting better as the year progressed. So I feel like we was just gonna be very good for sure. We was gonna beat a lot of teams.
All right, so we do got to get into one thing that you guys recently just got back from. That's a foreign tour. You guys got to go out there to France. First of all, I
Yeah.
got to ask, I have to imagine that was probably your first time out there, right?
In France, yeah.
So what was the whole experience like?
It was fun. It was fun. I feel like it was a great time. To build, team chemistry because we
Mhm.
we spent a lot of time with each other. I got to learn a lot of stuff about my teammates that I didn't know about. Just build a relationship with them. So I feel like that helped our team chemistry a lot. It was fun. It was a great experience. Not only playing basketball, but just being able to go to France. Not everybody go to France, so it was fun.
What would you say is your biggest takeaway from that trip?
My biggest takeaway from that trip. Mm, communication. We did a good like I've seen a lot of guys, talking and stuff that like I thought they were quiet, I thought my team was quiet or when we got to know each other and stuff, we got to communicating a lot, talking a lot,
Mhm.
texting and everything. So I feel like we just became closer as a team. So it was very good.
I have to imagine that a lot of the guys, I mean, it's a whole new team. You guys got tons of new guys coming in, whether it be incoming freshmen, transfers. Obviously, guys moved out, so you guys have a few returners and whatnot. How do you guys build this team together, though? Because it has to be a little bit chaotic just having so many new personalities and guys and characters coming into a group. What's that been like trying to just build that relationship with them?
I feel like it haven't even been hard. Like it's
Mm.
been good. Like this team, our team is like very good. So
And so, when you talk about your out there on that trip, what would you say is your favorite memory from the trip out there in France?
favorite memory, the jet skiing. We went jet skiing and everything. It was crazy. It was crazy.
And so you get to be around these coaches and all of them. What are they all like off the court? Like the whole culture. 'Cause I think that I feel like Alvin Brooks and Coach Drew and the whole coaching staff. It's a lot of fun personalities there. What's
Yeah.
it just like being around all those guys off the court?
I ain't a lot of guys crazy. Like Coach Jake is just like when we was out in France, they was riding scooters late at night. They really big kids for real. Coach Drew jet skiing in the ocean and swimming and stuff on scooters as well. Coach Brooks is crazy as well. Like they all kids at heart for real. Like it's fun to watch them. Coach knew everybody. Everybody. Coach Brooks playing. He be talking to me about playing 2K and everything. He crazy.
Hold up, so you're saying Coach Drew was on the jet ski?
He was on the jet skis. I caught him on birds. I'm like on the bird scooters. I'm like, yo, what? He's
So is any of
crazy.
that a little bit shocking to you? Because I don't think most people would expect the coach to be doing some of the stuff that a lot of the players are doing. So is that shocking to you then?
Yeah, it was shocking because he's like a big kid. I'm like, I didn't even know he could ride scooters. I mean, he going fast on the scooters. Fuck, coach, like chill, like he going fast too.
All right, so who's the funniest coach on the coaching staff then?
Coach Brooks, I ain't gonna lie, he the funniest. He crazy man. He's the funniest for sure. I talk to him every day.
Mhm.
Coach Tweety, funny. There's a lot of funny guys on there. Cause Jake is crazy. Like everybody got their little only personality. They all funny for real.
So many people typically talk about Coach Drew, and obviously rightfully so, but a lot of people don't obviously to give attention to the assistant coaches. And I know a lot of them, and they're all are great coaches and great guys as well. What makes the coaching staff so great, though? Just being around them and seeing what Coach Drew does at the helm of it, but then seeing the way that all the other coaches kind of help give Coach Drew the opportunity to be great and help him out around and help the personal relationship with you and the personal assistant coaches. How does this whole coaching staff come together, and just how special are they as a group?
I feel like the coaching staff, like they got great communication. Like coach, some days Coach Drew let like the assistant coaches run practice because I know a lot of head coaches don't even do that. So just
Mm,
coach, I feel like Coach Drew does a good job at letting the assistant coaches, have their days or just have a word. He listens to them. They're very good. Like they have very good communication, relationship. They trust each other, whatever decision they make. And I feel like they all do good because they all follow God too.
mm.
So I love that coaching staff. I ain't gonna lie, they are fun. They fun to be around. I love to get coached by them. They challenging. I love it. So, yeah.
You just mentioned that too, that they all love God and they follow Him. What's it
Yeah.
like just knowing that you go into this journey, obviously just trying to learn the ups and downs as a young man growing up, and having countless guys that you can kind of rely on as almost pastor like people, just kind of help guide you in your walk with God, as a mentor, I should say. How
Mhm.
big and important do you think that's going to be so far for yourself, but just going forward throughout the next year, maybe 2 years, however long you're at Baylor?
I feel like it's gonna be important, because I feel like it's gonna help me, raise my own kids and my own family,
Hmm.
you know, like raise, help the younger generation as well. So I feel like they just help me, like mentoring me a lot, throughout life, for sure.
You also mentioned that Coach Drew lets the coaches kind of go and have run their own practices. Who would you
Yeah.
say would you prefer as the running the practice? Like, who does the best practices, do you think?
Um, I wouldn't even say the best practice. I would say the most difficult, like the most difficult practice. So
Hmm.
the most difficult practice I say is Coach P. But yeah, Coach P has the most difficult workouts practice. Like you really have to be focused. I feel like Coach Brooks does a good job, at running the practice as well. Coach New does too, but Coach P is the one you have to be ready for. Like he is his workouts and his practices like very difficult. I'm not gonna lie, his is
Hmm.
crazy. So you got to be locked in for his for sure.
You look at the track record of Coach Drew. He's put in guys in the NBA such as Keontae, Davion, Jared Butler. The list goes on of guys that are at the guard position specifically. How big was that in your recruiting process, knowing that okay, I'm going to a situation where this coaching staff obviously knows how to get guys to the next level, which is where you want to be. How big is that for you?
I feel like it was very big in my decision because that's where I want to be at. So just seeing the player development and what guys he got in the NBA and everything. I feel like I feel like it influenced my decision a lot. Most of them guys have similar games to me, so I feel like it just helped a lot. And seeing them, in their player development, I feel like it helped for sure. Made me want to
So
go here.
so far, then, how would you say Coach Drew gets you to help kind of develop you for the NBA? Because like I said, to have this many guys go to the NBA at the guard position is not something that every coach in the country can do. So, just seeing what he does so far, what are some of the unique aspects that he helps you develop in as a guard?
I feel like he challenged me in areas that I'm weak at. Like he like
Mm,
he knows I'm a good on-ball defender. He
yeah.
knows a lot of things, but he challenges me like on things like I'm not good at. So like I feel like one day, I think it was like 2 days ago, he called me out on not talking or not being a good off-ball defender. I never thought about that. Like I always thought I was a good on-ball defender. I mean off-ball defender, but he challenges me to make me even more better. Just he always sees stuff in me that I can improve on. I appreciate him for that for sure.
So, kind of hopping into the NBA aspect, I mentioned that we look at some early mock drafts, and obviously it's way too early for a reason because lots of things can happen. But I'm sure you still have kind of seen that in the back of your mind a little bit, saying that, okay, you know that the NBA is something that some people are rumoring for yourself in the future, whether that be after this season, maybe another season, whatever the case may be. How do you deal with that? How do you balance this, kind of focusing on saying, you know what, I've got a job to do this season, at least on this court, playing at Baylor, and still knowing that, you know what, I do have the dream of playing in the NBA and knowing that that can become a reality someday?
I really handle it by like not looking at it. I ain't gonna lie, cause
Okay.
the more I look at it, or the more or more if I looked at a mock draft or something, like bring me a lot of pressure, like because I want to be great. Everybody want to have good games, but what you gonna do when you have a bad game and stuff not going your way? So I really try not to look at it and just play basketball, and then whatever the outcome is, that's the outcome. Just know I tried my hardest for sure though.
How do you think you would kind of feel comfortable saying, you know, I know I'm ready to take this next jump? I know you probably would go through the NBA draft process and whatever, and that would help you out as well. But in terms of your own game, to kind of give yourself the confidence saying, you know what, I think I'm ready to make this jump. What needs to develop? What needs to happen in your game for that to be the case for yourself?
I feel like it's just more confidence. I work out. I feel like I work out on everything. Watch film. That's one thing I had improved on too. Watching film on myself, and I feel like they do a good job here. We watch film on practice, not only games but like practice. So I feel like it helped a lot. Just improving, showing my playmaking ability, being able to pass, being able to play the one. I feel like that's gonna help a lot.
In the system you're going to, we know that you're going to have a lot more opportunity to be able to score the ball. And I know that's the one thing we look at it. Your shooting percentages are really high. We know you're a great on-ball defender. We know that you have a good length as well for a guard spot. You're also a young player overall. Do you think we're going to be able to see yourself score at a higher clip, get more opportunity to score this year, playing in a different system and offense that Coach Drew has?
Yes, I feel like because I feel like just the system and the style of play that Baylor has in general, like in practice, like or the plays that he just calls out is really just guard orientated, or guard coming off ball screens or guards just trying to make plays. So
Mm.
style of play is just meant just for guards. So you're gonna have like whoever plays it, like the guard position is gonna have to score for sure. And he plays three guards at that too.
So, how confident are you about yourself heading into this year? Because it is a big jump. I mentioned you were playing at a great conference still in the 8-10 last year, but you go to the Big 12, the best basketball conference, in my opinion, in the entire country. I don't think it's really that close either. So, you're going to be playing against the top schools night in and night out, every single game of the season. How confident are you about yourself heading into this season now?
I say I'm very confident. I'm just excited to see what our future holds. We have a great team, great wings, great bigs, great guards. These guys are fun to be around, fun to play against. So I feel like I'm very excited. I'm just ready to play somebody other than ourselves. I'm tired of playing, each other. I want this for sure.
So, how excited are you to be able to step on that court and play your very first game as a Baylor Bear?
I'm gonna be very excited. I can't wait to, I can't wait. I'm probably not gonna sleep that night, the day, so it's gonna be crazy.
So I do want to break down this roster though before I let you go because I mentioned there's a lot of change happening here. For the past few years, college fans have gone to fall in love with the LJ Cryer, Adam Flagler duo. Last year we saw Keontae come in. The whole guard corps now is renovated, has changed a lot. Now we've got yourself, we got Ray J, we got Jacoby, Mario Little's coming in now, and he's going to be an impact guy as a freshman. The list goes on. What can we expect specifically from the guards in this team? How special can you guys be as a guard tandem?
Feel like we're going to be very special just by the way we challenge each other every day in practice workouts. We play one on one a lot, open gym. Feel like we're just going to be very special about how we challenge each other. I feel like a lot of guards, they don't challenge each other like how we do. We play each other differently. Got a
Mm.
chip on our shoulder. It's going to be very exciting just to play with these guys. Play other people for sure.
Which guard do you like going up against the most on this roster?
Mm, Ray J. I like in practice. In practice, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm on the other team, I like playing against Ray J and Kobe. Like if I play them, I'm a guard. I'll guard Ray J or I'll guard Kobe. Like I always
Mm.
guard one of the only people I guard. And DeAntoine. I like guarding DeAntoine too. He fast. So
Who would you say out of this whole roster then are some guys that people might not be giving enough attention to because we talk about you, we kind of have an expectation that you're going to be a starter, a guy that people can count on. Same thing with Ray J. We know Jacoby's a top 10 incoming freshman, but there's a lot of guys that we just haven't got to see a lot yet. Guys that might be not as highly ranked, guys that might just be coming back like Langston Love and so on and so forth. Has there been anyone that's maybe shocked you a little bit that people might not be expecting to have a big role that you think will have a big role in this team this year?
one player. I mean, I can name a couple or just one.
You can do as much as you want, yeah.
Eves Messi. He shocked me a lot. The big. He got crazy bounce.
Mm.
He, top of the backboard. Um, who else? Jacoby. Jacoby is a great shooter, just a great scorer in general. Ray J is good. Miro is good. Like everybody's special in their own way. But yeah, I feel like Eves has surprised me. Now I did not expect him to be that athletic at that height, or just that good. He got great touch around the rim. He can shoot the midi, and yeah, they all the bigs really good for real. He could jump out. They all can jump out the gym, but he
Mm.
surprised me a lot for sure.
No, and he's someone that I think some people are interested to see because we all know he's a promising player, but he came in a little bit late to the team, obviously reclassified and
Yeah,
whatnot. How is he looking so far then?
he might average a double double this year. Like he's off.
Mm.
Like I told him that too. Like just if you came to practice and were like you just seen him, just watch him, like you would be like, wow, like he probably gonna go on. He probably yeah. He's surprised. He's excited to watch play and everything. So it's crazy.
So as a freshman, think he come into the Big 12 and average a double double. That's how special he's looking so far.
I think it'll be close for sure. It'll be close to
Mm.
double. If not double double, it'll be close for sure.
Okay. And we talk about one other guy on the team, Josh. You guys, and we talk about your defense a little bit, but there was a clip that came out while you guys were on that foreign tour. You guys were playing a little bit of a soccer match out there, and I didn't know you had too much soccer goalie skills. So you got to take us through that a little bit because I know you as a basketball player, and you guys showed us some little soccer stuff. Now I'm not a guy that knows how to evaluate soccer too well, but you got to take us through that a little bit.
Man, I don't know how to play soccer for nothing, but we was talking stuff, and Coach Drew challenged us. Coach Jacobs had challenged us. Whoever get a stop and everything, challenge us. He said I want to get a stop on Josh and everything. So me and Josh was talking smack, and I told him I'd get a stop on him, so I had to play goalie. This was my first time playing goalie, and I went out there the first time. He's kicking the ball. He know how to play soccer, so I didn't. He kicking the ball hard, and he I think he hit like 2 goals on me. So
Mhm.
it's the third one I had to get a stop. He said I wouldn't get a stop, so guess where he's gonna kick the ball, and I finally got a stop. It was crazy, but I'm never doing that again because I don't know how to play soccer. So
I was gonna say, so we're not gonna get a rematch of that then.
I'm probably Eves know how to play soccer. Josh and yeah, that's probably the only two that know how to play soccer real good.
All right, so you talk about this team then. Obviously, when you have this roster, you guys are going to go in the top 25. I don't know where they're going to rank you guys. And obviously, whenever the first rankings come out, I don't think they matter too much. They don't matter at all because things happen so quickly. But you guys have the talent. This team could be a team that we could see come March or April, I should say, potentially hoist up the championship. How special do you think this team can be?
I feel like this team could be very special. I feel like this team is different because we all like chasing after the same goal. I see guys, get a lot of guys get extra work in like all the time. So I feel like that just motivate each other. We all motivate each other to want to be better. So we always challenge each other in practice. Every practice is very competitive.
Hmm.
Every scrimmage or anything we do with each other is just very competitive. So I feel like we do a good job at that.
Absolutely, man. Well, I got my final question for you, and that's to say, when you look at this team and you look at yourself, what would you say would make a successful season for yourself? Because obviously, lots of things can happen. I'm sure you got goals. What would make it a successful first season at Baylor for Jayden Nunn?
I'd say a successful first season at Baylor because I hate losing. So I really do hate losing. So just
Hmm.
like winning the conference, regular season, conference tournament, just winning everything. Just trying to win everything. Even if we lose, just know I know we played our hardest. So because I know
Hmm.
it's realistic to win every game, but just trying to win at everything we do or play our hardest, no matter what the outcome is.
Absolutely, man. Well, Jayden, best luck this upcoming season. I'm so excited to see what God's got in store for you this year, man. Keep being the light, and best of luck, man. Of
Thank you. Appreciate you for having me.
course, you're always welcome on, man. God bless, bro.
God bless. Thank you.